All right, guys, here we go again. Some more insane Grand Theft Auto 6 news to talk about. This time it's coming from Jason Schreier, who is a video game reporter for Bloomberg, used to write articles for Kotaku. In the past, he has actually presented his own Grand Theft Auto 6 information, stating when he believes it's going to be coming out, Rockstar's culture of crunch, that it's the next game in development. So sit tight. We've got a lot to talk about today. So again, my name is Ross, or Mr. Boss for the win. And over the holiday weekend, July 4th, July 5th, a little bit into yesterday, there's been a lot of Grand Theft Auto 6 news come out. And in case you guys missed my first video, which outlines information detailed by insider and leaker Tom Henderson, I will leave a link to that in the description. We heard from Jason Schreier the other day, who actually confirmed what Tom Henderson is saying is true. So in case you guys were in the slightest bit skeptical of that, one of the most reputable video game journalists in the industry, Jason Schreier, has confirmed this to be true. So let's talk about it in this video today. So he was responding to someone who has actually now deleted their tweet. He said, IDK, why everyone thinks that I said Grand Theft Auto 6 was coming in 2023. Everything Tom Henderson has said about the game matches up with what I've heard. Wow. That right there is incredibly cool. So he's basically saying, don't expect the game to come out in 2023. He also talks about how he's not sure why people are associating that date with his name. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And everything that Tom Henderson says is correct. That it's going to be set in a modern day time. It'll have an evolving map in Vice City. It's going to have multiple protagonists, one of them expected to be female, and that it's supposed to come out around 2024, 2025. That is very cool because it confirms that everything we've heard so far seems to be true. Because if Tom Henderson is saying that this is true and Jason Schreier is saying this is true, they clearly have a source that's saying the same thing. So if that source is right, that means we've got a very good likelihood that this is going to be the right information here. Now, there's a lot more follow-up to this, so let's keep going into it. So someone ended up asking, so are you validating the everything of his other leaks as well, or just the release window? There's been a lot more to chew on recently than just the date. With him saying, I don't know, I haven't seen everything, but it's still early in development. It has an evolving and expanding map, which I also reported on last year. Wow, things keep getting more interesting. So Jason confirms it's still early on in development. Now, I don't necessarily know what early on in development means, and I don't think it would necessarily be smart to attach like a 50 or 75% done to something like this, but it's still in early development, which is why we haven't heard or seen anything from Rockstar, and it's going to have an evolving and expanding map. Now, this is not shocking because we saw this in Red Dead Redemption 2, and we have also seen this in other multiplayer titles like Fortnite, where the map expands, changes, evolves, and has new additions to it. So in Red Dead Redemption 2, just simply in story mode, when you go from 1899 to 1907, there are changes, things that you do, choices that you make throughout the story, make things happen throughout the world. So that's not surprising, and that was also one of my favorite features of Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm glad to see that Rockstar is bringing it back. Now again, way more follow-up here. Someone ended up saying, still don't see how it can take 4 to 5 years to finish up the rest of the game if Tez is right. With him saying that a new GTA title is not in early development, it's over halfway done. With Jason simply saying that is not right. So he is still saying and doubling down that Grand Theft Auto 6 is still early on in development, which is, again, sounds shocking when you hear early development. You think of very early on in the stages. But if it is going to be releasing in 2024, 2025, it's not totally all that shocking. Now, there was way more follow-up to that. Jason said, I'm getting deja vu. Nothing against Rockstar insiders, but I remember having to tell people more than a year ago that the game wasn't 70% done. But other people said, you said last year that you would expect a 2022/2023 release date. With him responding, one, I wasn't actually giving a window. I was just making the point that the insiders are wrong about the state of development and that it's years away. And two, that was April of last year. Anything notable happen since then? I'm assuming that notable thing he's talking about might be like the pandemic, but I'm guessing we'll get more follow-up on that in a little bit. With the last person saying, hey, just curious, who is your source? With him hilariously saying, Nico Bellic, protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 4. So he's just having sort of fun here. But yes, he was just making a point that it was likely not going to be 2021 when the game was coming out. And he was just throwing out 2023. But it looks like the pandemic and other factors have now pushed that back to 2024 or 2025. Now, I told you guys, there's a lot of follow-up here, so let's keep diving into it. Another user said, game started development after Red Dead Redemption 2, I imagine, so it's what? A year under normal development plus a year under pandemic conditions. If it's 2024/5, that's actually a pretty good turnaround, and I bet they're being good to staff. And if I remember correctly, you said they were improving in an article. With him saying, I think Rockstar has made a conscious and deliberate effort to improve their work culture, yes. With another person saying, so can we expect now it's halfway done or still early in development? And he said, game development isn't a linear process. There's no way for anyone to really gauge whether a game is halfway or 70% done. I just think people are gonna have to be patient. So yeah, patience is the key here, and especially with the pandemic, because more follow-up is from another person saying, people said you said 2023 because you said on a podcast 2023 sounds more realistic. And for the record, I've been saying for 2.5 years it won't be till 2023/4. People don't realize that Rockstar were busy with Red Dead Redemption 2 for 5 years post-5. And he said, yeah, I said 2023 sounded more realistic than 2021, and that was before we entered a pandemic that still hasn't stopped. So ding, ding, ding. I think that's our answer right there. Pandemic still has not stopped and has probably slowed down Rockstar a bit. Now, the best part about this entire thing is that another source can confirm this. So another popular video game reporter, Nebelian, ended up putting out a tweet. In case you missed it, a recent GTA 6 leak was confirmed by Jason Schreier about set in a modern day, evolving map, multiple protagonists, set in 2024-2025, with Jason's response right there. But you guys can see at the very, very bottom, this guy named Andy Robinson said, we can also corroborate this. And in case you guys are wondering who Andy Robertson is, he is the editor-in-chief for VideoGamesChronicle.com, which is one of the more reputable video game sites out there, and they put out an article that said Grand Theft Auto 6 could still be 4 years away, it's claimed. And what's interesting is in this article, they have a line that says this also matches what VGC has heard about the next GTA game from its own sources. So how about that? You've got Tom Henderson, insider and leaker, saying the same thing. You've got Jason Schreier, author and video game journalist, saying the same thing. And you've got Andy Robinson, the editor-in-chief for Video Game Chronicle, one of the most prolific video game websites out there, that this is what he has heard as well. So either everyone is being tricked with the same information, or these are accurate details on the next Grand Theft Auto game, GTA 6. And if that's the case, this is really cool, because now the game is starting to shape up. We're starting to get an idea of when it will be released, where it will take place, how it will take place, who's going to be involved. So once again, I will of course leave everything in the description of this video. I know this was a lot to take in today, so we can finally exhale, but that should get you caught up on everything in the world of Grand Theft Auto 6 right now. The latest news, rumors, reports, and information that at least I have seen so far. If there's any more follow-up to this, which I'm sure there will be, I will definitely be sure to let you guys know in those comments down below, and with a future video if it is significant enough. But I would love to hear from you guys in those comments. Let me know what you think about the information we talked about in this video today. Do you think it's real, fake, somewhere in between? Let me know what you guys are thinking about and how you're feeling in those comments down below. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you want to stay up to date on all the latest GTA and Red Dead Redemption videos that I'm doing here on my channel. And be sure to ring that notification bell as well. Sometimes YouTube just doesn't work, and if you ring that bell, you'll always be guaranteed to be notified when new videos arrive. But of course, as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.